Good morning, girls. How are you? I hope you are all doing fine. Okay, today we are starting in our new module, Module 18. Module 18 is called Congruent Figures. You know what's a congruent, right? Congruent means equal. Congruent means equal. We are going to be talking about figures that are transformed into another figures, and we have to ask ourselves, are the two figures are congruent or not? You remember that we had two kinds of motions or transformation, rigid and non-rigid. Which one of them give you a similar or a congruent figure that didn't change size? It was the rigid motion, the translation, the reflection, and the rotation, right? But for the dilation, that increase, enlarge, compress, shrink, these things, the size was changing, so this is considered to be non-congruent figures. Anyway, we are going to be having these three lessons, inshallah. Today we are doing the lesson of sequences of transformation. You know what is a sequence, right? Sequence means more than one transformation after each other. In lesson 17.1 we took translation alone. 17.2 we took reflection alone. 17.3 we took rotation alone. In lesson 18.1 you are going to be taking the more than one transformation in the same problem. For example, he is going to be giving you any figure, a rectangle, a triangle, anything, and you are required to perform translation and then rotation. You are required to do reflection and then translation and then rotation. You can combine more than one transformation together. But before we start in the module, as you know, we have to do this page of the Are You Ready? In page 884. Actually, I'm not going to do it. It's very, very easy. I'm going to just give you a hint and then you have to do it by yourself and send me a picture because it's very, very easy. Okay, like in first example, we were recalling the properties of reflections. You remember reflections? We said to do reflections, you have two ways, either using the ruler way if there is no coordinate, or the coordinate way if he tells you what to reflect across. For example, here he is telling you across x-axis, there was a rule for x-axis. You have to negate y. If you remember, I have to put a negative for y. A reflection across y equal x, y equal x. I have to flip the y and x. There was a rule, there was a table, if you remember, in the reflection. Okay, in this way, in here, in number 1 and number 2, find the vertices of the reflected figure. Triangle ABC reflected across x-axis. If I'm reflected across x-axis, what should happen to my points? What will happen to my points is that I'm going, as I said, put a negative for y. Always do the opposite in reflection. So let's do it. I have to find A, I have to find B, and then I have to find C. And then I'm going to add a negative for the y value. For example, if we try to do it fast, this is page 884. First of all, we are going to try to find A. The vertices of A is, now let's write the rule here, x and y is going to be x and negative y. Just add a negative for y. Okay, if we go back, A is 1 and 1. A was 1 and 1 in here. 1 and 1. So it's going to be what? 1 and negative 1. Just as simple as this. Let's find B. B is what? B is, if you look at your books, it's 2 and 3. B is 2 and 3. Okay, so it's going to be 2 and negative 3. Okay, let's talk about C. Go back. C is 3 and 1. C is 3 and 1, so it's going to be 3 and negative 1. Just he wants the vertices. Very easy, right? For question 2, he was telling you to reflect across y equal x. Go back to the table, or I hope that you have already memorized it by now. To reflect across y equal x, I told you just X and Y is going to be Y and X. Just you flip them. Just I flip them. So 1 and 1 are going to be what? A again is 1 and 1, right? It's going to be what? If I flip 1 and 1, they will remain 1 and 1 as they are because they are already 1 and 1. What about B? B was 2 and 3, right? It's going to be what? Just flip. So 3 and 2. Okay, what about C? C was 3 and 1. Just let's flip. It's going to be what and what? 1 and 3. Okay? Okay. Let's go back in here. Let's go back in here. For the after reflection, we did it. And then you are going to the properties of rotation. This is the lesson that we have just finished. ABC is rotated 180 around the origin. You remember there was a rule for the rotation of 180. 180 was just you have to put a negative for X and Y. X and Y is going to be negative X and negative Y. You can do this by yourself. And then for the translation thing, ABC is translated across whatever. What should I do with this? Just I'm going to minus 2 for X and add 2 for Y and find the new vertex or vertices. Okay? Again, you can do this by yourself and show me your answers. Okay. For now, let's start our new lesson. And please concentrate very, very, very much. Where we are starting in page 885. We are starting in page 885. Okay, sequence of transformation. As I told you, sequence of transformation is that you are going to be applying more than one transformation on the same figure. Let's start with question A. We have an empty space here. Let's read. What should we do? Find the image for each sequence of transformation. And here he is telling you we are going to be combining rotations or reflections together. Combining rotations or reflections. Okay. Using geometry software, we don't have a geometry software. We have our hands and our rulers and our pencils. Draw a triangle and label the vertices A, B, and C. Here, girls, you are going to draw any triangle that you please. It's better to draw it in this way. Just to be like the book, I'm going to give you a shape of it. Let's do it in this way. As if you don't see the red one. This is my triangle. Just draw a triangle. Try to do it in this way. A, B, C, and then we have point P in here. He is telling you that I'm going to graph or to draw a triangle ABC. Since we don't have it, just triangle ABC and then put a point P in anywhere. Put a point P in anywhere. But this is what we are going to do. We are going to be drawing a table, a triangle in here, A, B, C, and put a point in anywhere you want. And then the question is, rotate triangle ABC 30 degrees around point P and label the image as triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. Our image, let's rotate it 30 degrees. You remember how did we rotate? You remember how do we rotate? Using our protractor. Okay, let's do it. In here, he is telling you to rotate it 90 degrees. So if we were rotating a 30 degree and this is my triangle and this is my point, I'm going to get my protractor. Here is my protractor. And then as we said, the center on the center. Where is the center? The center is at P. This is the center. This is P, okay? And then I'm going to put it at C like this. Okay, and then just to read, I'm going to increase it a little bit. Okay, let's read. I have to read 30 degrees. I have to rotate it 30 degrees. If we start to read, I'm going to read from the inner or the outer? From the outer this time. 10, 20, 30, and then I'm going to make a line from here till 30. And then I'm going to measure the distance from here till here. What, for example, it was 2 centimeters. So in here, it should be 2 centimeters as well. And then point C prime, for example, will be in here. Okay? Okay? Yani you will end with something like this. This is what you will end with. This is what you will end with. This will be our shape. First of all, we drew a triangle ABC. This is the original one. And this was point P. And we were required to rotate it 30 degrees across point P. So as we did, I brought my protractor. I drew a line in here. I put the center on the center. I measured 30 degrees and found C prime. In the same way, I found B prime. In the same way, I found A prime. And then I closed my triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. So what is this? This is that my triangle was rotated around point P 30 degrees to create A prime, B prime, C prime. After doing this, this is a sequence. Remember, I'm going to rotate triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. Yani after doing this, I found my image. Let's rotate our image now 45 degrees around point P. This is the sequence. Sequencing, you are doing a new transformation each time on the previous image. ABC became A prime, B prime, C prime. Now we are going to rotate this triangle across point P to create a new triangle, which is going to be named A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. And if you rotate this again, it will be what? A triple prime, B triple prime, C triple prime, and so on. This is the sequence of transformation. Take care, very, very, very important mistake that a lot of the students fall in it. When you are talking about sequence, sequence doesn't mean that every time you are doing the transformation on the original one. No. Sequence means each new transformation is on the new image. Yeah, the first transformation happened on ABC. The second transformation will happen on A prime, B prime, C prime. The third transformation will happen on this, and so on. Okay, anyway, for us, we drew ABC and the point P. We rotated this to A prime, B prime, C prime, and then this new one, I rotated it 45 degrees. How to rotate it? I'm going to connect a line from here till here, and then I'm going to put my protractor. After doing my protractor, I'm going to measure a 45 degree to find C prime. The same thing with B prime, the same thing with A prime until I found A double prime, B double prime, and C double prime. The question is, if I connect C to P and P to double C, what will be the measure of the angle in here? Remember, first of all, we rotated 30 degrees, and then this was rotated 45 degrees. So as a whole, if I didn't have this shape and I rotated ABC to find A double prime, B double prime, C double prime right away, what will be the angle of rotation? It will be what? It will be 30 plus 45, right? So this is our question in here. Make a conjecture regarding a single rotation that will map triangle ABC to triangle A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. Yani what is, yani here we did double rotation. I did 30 first and then 45 first. If I wanted to do one rotation, what will be the one rotation that is applied for this to give me this right away? It will be a rotation of how many degrees? For 75 degrees. How did I find the 75 degrees? Let's do question B in here. So it will be a rotation of 30 plus 70, 30 plus 45, which is equal to 75 degrees. Okay? Okay. Let's go back to our book. After doing this, he is telling you, number C, using a geometry software, again, draw a triangle and label vertices D, E, and F. Let's draw another triangle and name it this time DEF. Then draw two intersecting lines and label them as J and K. What is this? Like here. Like here. You are going to do this for question C. First of all, you drew a triangle DEF, just like this. And then the two intersecting lines, I mean something like this. You are going to draw something like this, like here. This is what you are required to graph. But first of all, you are for number C, you are going to graph any triangle you want, like DEF. And then you are going to draw two intersecting lines. Can you see these black lines? Just draw two intersecting lines like this and name one J and name the second K. I will tell you what is the red one now. But for now, I draw a triangle. I draw two intersecting lines like this. And then what's required from me after graphing all of this? Reflect triangle DEF across line J and label the image as D prime, E prime, F prime. Then reflect the new one across line K and label the image as D double prime, E double prime, F double prime, and sketch your result. What is this again? Yeah, and this is what we are going to be doing exactly. First of all, we graphed the triangle and the line. The first thing, let's reflect this triangle across this line. Let's remember, how can I reflect using my ruler? I'm going to go get my ruler, and then as we said before, adjust it to be 90 degrees exactly on this line, and then I will measure the distance from here till here, and I'm going to put my ruler in here. The ruler should be put in here, okay? And then I'm going to measure the distance from here to here. For example, it was 1 centimeter, then copy it in the other side to be 1 centimeter. Then I will find E prime. The same thing with D. I'm going to connect a line from here till here and measure it. For example, it was 2 centimeters. Copy it from here till here. And then from here, draw a line. For example, it was 1 centimeter. You can draw another line as 1 centimeter. So D prime, E prime, F prime. And then let's reflect this triangle across this line in the same way. I'm going to draw a line in here and measure this distance and then copy it to find D double prime. And then I'm going to draw a line using my ruler and then copy it to find F prime. And then I'm going to do the same thing with E and copy it to find E prime. And you are going to be having something like this. Like in here. This was going to be your result. So DEF was the original one. Then I reflected to find D prime, E prime, F prime. And then this was reflected to find D double prime, E double prime, and F double prime. So this is what you have to draw in number C, something like this in number C. Okay? Okay. Okay, let's go to the second page. We don't need to do number D. Let's open page 886 right away in question 8. Combining rigid transformation. Okay, the lesson here, girls, from now on is going to be divided into two parts. The first part is combining rigid transformation. What are rigid transformation? The three transformations that we have been dealing with: the rotation, the reflection, and the translation. And then for the second part, it's going to be combining non-rigid transformation. What is a non-rigid transformation? Dilation is going to be happening, and I'm going to be increasing and enlarging and shrinking my figure. Okay, let's go back to first part, combining rigid transformation. You will be having a question like this. Example 1, draw the image of triangle ABC after the given combination of transformation. Combination, because you don't have one transformation, you have more than one. For question A here, he is telling you first, reflection over line L, then translation along line V. Oh, along, sorry, not line, along vector V. What is this? This is my figure. I have triangle A, B, and C. And then I have a line L that I'm supposed to reflect my triangle in here. And then after this, I have to do a translation. Very, very, very important note that you need to understand carefully, and please hear it carefully. Reflection, then translation. What if you, in the exam, for example, you think for yourself, well, translation is easier for me. I'm going to start with translation and then I'm going to do the reflection. Will you have the same answer? The answer will be totally wrong. Take care in the sequence of transformation. To do it in order, the order is very, 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 very important. Doing reflection, then translation will give you a shape 100% different than doing translation and then reflection. So please do whatever the question is asking you. The question is saying what first? Reflection. So you have to reflect first. Then translation. You shouldn't do it with your own order. You shouldn't do it with your own request. You have to do it as the question is saying. Okay, I have triangle A, B, C, and this is my line of reflection. Let's do the reflection. First of all, point A is very easy. It's already lying on the line L, so A prime will be what? Will be the same. And then I'm going to go get my ruler. Let's get our ruler. Let's get our ruler. I'm going to draw a line, a perpendicular line from here till here. And then I'm going to measure the distance. For example, it was 2 centimeters. And then I'm going to copy it in the other side. C prime will be in here. But I drew a line from here till here. I measure it. It was whatever centimeter. I'm going to copy it in the other side. So C prime will be in here. And then you are going to do the same thing for B. I think B prime will be somewhere in here. Like in here. Now, this is what we did. Using our ruler, we measured to find C prime, and then A prime was the same, and then we measured to find B prime, and then what should I do? I will close my triangle, A prime, B prime, C prime. And then translation along line V. Which one should be translated? The original one? No, the new one should be translated. Along line V, you remember what should we do it with translation? I should begin what? Counting my squares. Let's count. I have to rotate. I have to translate. 1, 2, 3, 4. يبقى 4 right and 1 up. 4 right and 1 up. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 up. So C prime will be in here. What about B? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 up. So فعلا really B prime is in here. What about A prime? Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 up. And here is A prime. And you finished your question and you got your mark. Okay? So please do it in order, because the order in the sequence of transformation is very important. And remember, each new transformation is happening on the new part. And of course, do not remember to name it A double prime. Double prime, just we are putting double prime in here. So A double prime, B double prime, and C double prime. Okay, let's go to the other question. I have a triangle A, B, C, and we have point P and we have vector V. Let's see what's required. What's required is 180-degree rotation around point P. Take care. Around point P, 180 rotation. You cannot use the table in here. The table, if you remember, was you can use the table if he is telling you rotation around the origin. Okay, and normally you have to use the protractor method. If he didn't tell you around the origin, it's around any point, so you have to use the protractor method. So let's use the protractor. I am going to put the protractor in here. So let's try to do it on okay, let's do it here. I have triangle the same way. I have triangle A, B, and C, and this is point P. And I have to rotate it 180-degree across point P. And you have 3 choices in here. Which choice is the correct one? Is it like this, or like this, or like this? But let's do it using our protractor. I'm going to go get my protractor. Here's my protractor. I have to put the center on the center. And then I have to put the line on the line, like here. And then I have to measure what? A 180-degree. Take care, 180-degree means starting from here till the end. Yani my point is not be lying here, nor here, nor here. It's going to be in here. So C is going to be rotated from here 180 to be in there. So this point shouldn't be B prime, it should be what? It should be C prime. So it is either this or this. This is wrong. Right, let's do A prime. What about A? Let's do A. Let's have this, our protractor. Let's put it in here. And C, if it was A, so I have to connect it to A now. A prime should be in here, but it was there. Again, this is wrong. Let's check here. The center on the center. Yes, exactly. And even for B, if you try to see B, exactly 180 degrees. Very good. So this is my answer. So this is what you are going to be drawing for the first part. But for the first part, I rotated C, and then I rotated A 180 degrees, and then I rotated B using my protractor method. As we said, put the center on the center. Measure the distance from here till here, and go copy the same distance on the other side, because this is a 180 degree. Okay? After doing this, you are required to do what? To reflect the new shape across line or vector V. Across vector V. Let's go back to our book. Or here, okay, across vector V. If we are across vector V, I have to count 1, 2, and 3, and 1 up. So each one of these will be 1, 2, 3, and 1 up. So C double prime will be in here. 1, 2, 3, and 1 up. So B double prime will be in here. For A, 1, 2, 3, and 1 up, A double prime will be in there. So you will be having a shape like which one? I think this one. I think. Check. Yes, correct. Okay, going back to our book, because you know, always the online thing is a little bit different from the book. So in here, C prime will be there, A prime will be up in here, and B prime, I think, will be in here using the protractor method. And then here I have to translate how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 up. So each one of the new figure will be translated, and please do not forget to name it A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. Yani in other way, you will be having a shape like this. You will be having a shape like this, like in here. First of all, I rotated my triangle, so C double prime, A double prime. Yes, sorry, across point A, yes, because point P is not here. Point P is in there. That's why it was rotated in this way. Yes, exactly. Yes, very good. It's different from the one on the online. So A prime will be in here using the protractor method, and B will be in here, B prime. And then this should be translated, as we said, how many? It should be translated across line V. 5 points and 1 point up. And then I didn't see this actually. After doing this, I have to reflect it across line L. Yani here the sequence is actually 3 things. It is a 180 rotation, and then it's a translation, and then it's a reflection across line L. Yani the new shape should be reflected using our ruler. I'm going to get my ruler. C double prime. Measuring the distance, 1 centimeter, so I should copy it 1 centimeter in here. Or even you can count the squares. In here it is 1, 2, 3, 4. So down it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, and the B triple prime is here. For A it's 1, 2, 3. So it's 1, 2, 3. I found A triple prime. So what happened? My triangle first was rotated 180 degrees, and then it was translated, and then it was reflected across line A. This is called a sequence of transformation. Okay? Okay. For the first question that we have in reflect, let's read the question. Are the image you drew for each example the same size and shape as the given pre-image? What do you think? Of course, yes, all of them are the same size and shape. Why? Because this is what? Because this is this rigid transformation. The question is, in what ways do rigid transformations change the pre-image? Only the orientation. What do I mean by the orientation? In the direction. Yani A was in here, B was in here, C was in here. Rigid transformation can change the orientation of the point. It can make A in here, B in here, and C in there. Now the size and the shape are the same. So this is what we are going to be writing for question 4. For question 4, we are going to be writing the size and the shape are the same, just the orientation changed. As I told you, the orientation means the like the order of points. A was there, B was here, C was here. This can change. This can change. Okay, question 5. Does the order in which you apply the transformation make a difference? Of course, it make a huge difference. يبقى yes. يبقى here just we are going to write array. Yes. In number 5, just write yes. That order change a lot. يبقى for question 5, yes, order change the result. The resulting image. If in question B that we were doing, if you try to do it in another order, you started with reflection first, for example, and then you did the rotation, and then you did the translation, you will find the image to be something else than the one you did at all, 100%. Okay. For part B, describe a sequence of transformations that will take triangle A prime, A double prime, B double prime, C double prime back to the pre-image. This is a good question. In here, I did a rotation of 180 degrees, and then I translated by 5 units right and 1 unit up, and then I did a reflection across line L. So to go back to our original one, what should I do? Should I make a rotation first? Girls, whatever goes first comes first. What do I mean? Or sorry, whatever comes last comes first. What do I mean? Here, I started by rotation to find A prime, B prime, C prime. And then I did a translation to find the double prime. And then I did a reflection to find the triple prime. To go back, you cannot go back directly. I have to go back first to here, and then to here, and then to here. I mean, the first thing I should do in the back, in the reverse sequence, I should reflect across line L. And then I should translate back, but this time not 5 units right, it's going to be 5 units left and 1 unit down. And then I should rotate back 180 degrees. But this is what you are going to be doing. You are going to be doing in reverse order, like here. In this case, reversing the order of the transformation will take the image back to the pre-image. Reversing the order will take you back to your answer. Okay? Okay. In here, for question 7 and 8, this will be your performance indicator as classwork today. Here you are required to do reflection and then 90-degree rotation around point P using the first one using the ruler or using counting the squares. Here 1, here it's a 1, here it's I think 3, and then around point P rotation using the protractor. And for here you are doing 3 things, and please do not forget, girls, to name your new triangles because you will be having 2. Here we have 3 things. First of all, translation across V, and then 180 rotation across point P using the protractor, and then again translation along U. Okay. Let's go to explain to combining non-rigid transformation. Now it's not using the ruler method, it's using the rules method, the thing that you like. What do I mean by non-rigid transformation? Yani my size and my shape is going to be changing as I'm going to be multiplying by numbers. You remember I told you when it is plus and minus, this is translation. When there is some negatives, this is reflection and rotation. When you multiply by numbers bigger than or less than 1, it means that you are what? You are dilating. And I don't know if we wrote this before or not, but we can write it as a note for the dilation. When x and y become a, x and y, this is vertical. Vertical what? Sorry, this is horizontal because this is x. The a is multiplied with x. If a was greater than 1, so this is horizontal. Horizontal, bigger than 1. So horizontal stretch or enlarge. Horizontal stretch. We are going to write stretch. If this a was less than 1, so this is a horizontal again, but this time what? You can write compression or shrink. I'm going to write compression. It is the same idea. But what about if x and y? What about if x and y became x and a y? But this is vertical. If a is greater than 1, so this is a vertical stretch. If a was less than 1, so this is a vertical compression. Okay? This is important. Okay, let's go back to our books. Okay, in number A, draw the image of the figure in the plane after the given combination of transformation is given. I have to do first this, and then I have to apply this, and then I have to apply this. How? Where is my original one? My original is A, B, C, and D. What are you going to do? You are going to extract your points, and then you are going to multiply it by 3, by 2, and so yeah, let me do it with you. Let me do it with you in details. Let me do it with you in details. Okay. The thing that is very, very interesting in the rule thing is that you don't need to know what's happening. You already have the rule, you are just applying the rule. You don't need to know if it's reflection, if it's translation, if it's whatever. This is just for us to understand. Actually, you are just applying the rule. Yeah, actually, this is going to be an enlargement because 3/2 is bigger than 1. Enlargement in both vertical and horizontal way. And then negative x and y, this is actually a reflection across what? Across y, because we have a negative at x. And since I have plus and minus, yeah, this is translation. Okay, to do it, I'm going to find the points of A, B, C, and D. Let's find the points. Let's find the points. Okay. Yeah, let's find A. A is, let's read it, 2 and 2. A is 2 and 2. A is 2 and 2. And then B, down, B is 2 and 4. B is 2 and 4. B is 2 and 4. And then C is 6 and 4. 6 and 4, and then finally D is 4 and 2. Four and 2. Okay, and then first of all, you are going to multiply it according to the rule by 3 by 2. Yani each one of these should be multiplied by 1.5 or 3 over 2. Using your calculators, let's open the calculators and let's multiply these numbers by 1.5. Let's do it. Yalla, 2 multiply 1.5, 3. So it's a 3 and 3. And then in here, it's going to be 3 and 4 multiply 1.5 is 6. And then for here, 6 multiply 1.5 is 9. So here this is 9 and 6. And then the last point is 6 and 3. And then what should I do with these points? I'm going to go and graph them. And this is going to be named A prime, B prime, C prime, and D prime. And then you are required to do negative x and negative y, negative x and y, right? This is the second transformation. Negative x means what? Just add or change the sign of x. So it's going to be negative 3 and 3. Here it's going to be negative 3 and 6. Here, negative 9 and 6. And then the last one is negative 6 and 3. And then what should I do with the new points? Again, go and graph them. And this is going to be A double prime, B double prime, C double prime, D double prime. And then you are required to plus 1 and minus 2, right? This was question, yes. Plus 1 and minus 2 for the new one. Let's add 1 to x. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. And then y plus 2 is going to be a 5. And then in here, negative 3 minus 1. Sorry, here, plus 1 and y minus 2. Plus 1 and y minus 2. Plus 1 and y minus 2. So negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. 3 minus 2 is going to be a 1 here. Here, this is going to be a 1. Negative 3 plus 1 is, yes. Negative 3 plus 1, again, this is going to be a negative 2. And 6 minus 2 is a 4. And then here, negative 9 plus 1 is going to be a negative 8. And 6 minus 2 is a 4. And then the last one, negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5. And 3 minus 1 is a 2. 3 minus 2, 3 minus 2 is a 1. So this is going to be the new points. And this is A triple prime, B triple prime, C triple prime, and D triple prime. And then you are going to be having the figure in this way. The figure that you have inside your books. Okay. Okay, you are required to do question B by yourself, and then question 11 and 12. For explain 3, it's cancelled. So the lesson is done. Okay, thank you very, very much, and see you tomorrow, inshallah.